In order to start chromatography, I'm going to take chromatography paper, and I see that I have a jagged edge here. I'm just going to clean it up with a pair of scissors. So the instructions tells me to cut 2 pieces of chromatography paper 11.5 centimeters. Now I can measure that, but to be honest, the width of a hand is pretty accurate enough for this. And I'll need 2 pieces of paper about the same length. I'm going to take a pencil and draw a line 1 centimeter from one end. Now once again, this 1 centimeter doesn't need to be exact. The width of a pinky is just about enough, but I'm going to put a line here in pencil to denote where my ink started in the chromatography. I'm going to do the same thing to the other piece of chromatography paper. And step 2 says in the center of the line, I'm going to place a dot of ink A. Now this ink might be a Sharpie or a dry erase marker or a felt tip marker. Now if there's only one sample, you might as well put it in the middle, but if there's 2 samples, you can put 2 dots kind of next to each other, spaced out a little bit. So I'll put a dot of Sharpie here and my red felt tip marker. Whatever you do to one piece of paper, let's do it to the other piece of paper as well. This is the end that's going to end up going into our liquid that we're going to conduct chromatography with. In order to suspend our, we should label our pieces of chromatography paper with, okay, there are 2 dots of ink, and this will be in water, and this one will be ink in acetone. Next, we'd like to support these pieces of chromatography paper so that they will sit in a 250 milliliter beaker. We can do this with a wood splint, which is pretty common in chemistry class. Sometimes they're just simply coffee stirrers. And the objective here is we'd like to suspend these into a 250 milliliter beaker. You'll see right now that my piece of chromatography paper is a bit too long. It sits on the bottom. So I'm going to adjust my piece of chromatography paper up here at the top, wrap up some more paper so that it is just barely above the bottom of the beaker. So I'll continue to wrap, and when I find that I've wrapped enough times, I'll add a paper clip so that my piece of paper is just barely off the bottom of the beaker. I'm going to put a very thin layer of liquid here, which will travel up the chromatography paper.